this camera angled. All right, we're just gonna go with it. Okay, everybody, welcome in. Welcome in. I'm Tara. I'm your detox coach, and I specialize in helping people with HSV in particular. Um, Let me switch these cameras. And HPV. Oops, my bad. My bad, y'all. I gotta switch this around. Okay, and I'm gonna put this camera right here. Okay. We don't know all of the real effects of the virus because maybe they're talking about inside of their close knit sessions or whatever. They're talking more about how you feel. They're talking about kind of like you're supposed to be eating, but they are not giving accurate information. They're not giving you accurate information. They're only giving you information to the best of their knowledge, and that is why it's faulty. What is up with this phone? It is dark as hell. All right, we're gonna roll with it. So the information, like any type of medicine, not even when I had my children, I didn't take medicine. But in some of your cases, if you have like HSV1 and your body is going haywire, your doctor don't know what to do, get on acyclovir. You can get it online. Hey, Dominique. So you can get it online. You can shop around to different doctors. You can tell them that you think you had a scare, but that will help bring down the viral load in your body. So that may be step one for some of you guys. And then the next thing is going to be looking for those key things in your diet that you're eating that you shouldn't be eating. So it's not to say that right off the bat you need to change everything that you're doing, because not everybody is ready to just change everything that you're doing. So in the meantime, you need to look at that list, that high arginine list that's inside the community that I keep telling you guys about. So just go to the link in my bio, click it, and then in the link tree you'll see free community. Start to get better for you. Of course, it's not going to finish the detox. No, you actually get relief from making these small changes right now. So you can do this by eliminating that thing. So let's say, what if you like start eating salads? Okay, you have to be careful what you put on your salad. You don't want broccoli on your salad. You don't want a lot. You don't want to overly eat tomatoes, because tomatoes are pro-inflammatory, even though they are good for you in small amounts. Onions is on the arginine list, but let's say you're cooking a pot of beans. Let's say you're making some red beans. Red beans are high in lysine. The onions are higher in arginine. But I mean, how your beans gonna taste with no onions? Okay, and then it's just a small amount of onions. It's not like you're eating, it's way more onions than red beans. So just, use like your common sense around those types of things. Like you can have some onions in your beans, like, when you're cooking your beans or cooking your meals, your pot meals for your family and for dinner. But if you're having a salad, you don't want to have raw onions on your salad. You see? Following the high lysine list definitely gave me relief with eye allergies. Good, that's so good. So just the high lysine list, low arginine list that I compiled. Okay. The list that I compiled, because I went and I checked those foods. So I'm not sending you to a blog or somebody else's information they compiled. So I made sure that everything on the list is actually indeed high lysine and low arginine. Okay. So that's your first step. That's not hard to do. That's not hard to do. Now we got to do the mental work, because how are we going to get over the fact that the virus tells us that we can't do what it is that we're setting out to do? Because one thing that I notice across the board with all of my clients who have HSV, they kind of battle with this whole, they have like this inner battle going on of something telling them like they can't do something, or making them feel insecure about moving forward in certain ways, whether that's with life or with the detox or just with anything in general. It just makes them feel like they're more inside of themselves and more shut in, want to stay home, or not very outgoing anymore. So with that, we have to do the mental work so that you can start to break free from the bondage of the virus, because the virus has you in bondage and it's making you feel that way. It needs you to feel depressed, because then your spirit is weakened, and that's how it can latch on to you. So this is actually a spiritual manifestation that is latched onto you during a time where you were weak. So, in order to get rid of it, you're going to have to strengthen yourself mentally too. So, that's when you're going to have to start doing meditations. It's a good time to start doing like shadow work if you've ever heard of shadow work. And that's where you just, take account of all the things that you find negative about yourself, things that you've done that you are not exactly proud of, tendencies that you have that you know that you need to work on, the things that you feel are your character flaws. You want to take account of those things and start to look for identifying what character is, and then looking for the positive and the negative of that particular character trait. Okay, so just like you can be a Taurus, but you can be, if you're somebody who's going through a whole bunch of negative stuff in your life and you was raised up in a negative home, and you've been through a lot of negative experiences, then you'll exude the negative side of the Taurus. You'll give off more of those negative aspects. But if somebody is more loving in their heart, they have that, more lightheartedness, even if they were in bad situations, just their personality exudes the positive traits of the Taurus. So that's just an example of like all of your characteristics are the same. Whether it is you think that maybe you might feel like you are too friendly with people. If you feel like you're too friendly, and sometimes that can lead you into ideal world, like how do you view you after you're done with all of this? Okay, after you're done with this, who do you want to be? And the ultimate, like if you didn't have any of the problems that you had, like who would you be? Person. So really identifying who that person is and then working your way towards it, because the you that you want to be, it's you, you're in there, but you got like some other type of baggage on top of you that is preventing you from being the you that you want to be, the you that you know that you are. So create a schedule for yourself, create structure for yourself, and that will help to bring you out of the mental anguish of being diagnosed with either HSV or HPV. Because when you are diagnosed, it really does feel like the whole world is like, it just stops. The world stops. And you're like, oh my God, like, I don't even know how I'm gonna move forward with this. Like, I don't know if I can like really touch people, if I can like pass it through touching, or I don't really know, am I going to be alone forever? I will never be able to open my mouth to disclose this to someone else. That's causing internal effects. Most people don't have outbreaks. 90% of the people who have HSV do get outbreaks. They're not getting outbreaks, okay? What they are getting, disease issues with diabetes, high blood pressure. The very first thing to go, I would say, would be starting to experience memory loss, experiencing back pain, joint pain, having nerve pain like sciatica, having muscle spasms, feeling very fatigued, feeling weak, especially those who work out. All of a sudden now it takes longer to recover between workouts. Your muscles are more tired, your muscles are more fatigued, and then you don't bulk up as much as you used to. So those are like some of the main effects that you'll notice from HSV. But no, tell me that they got XYZ going on. I'm like, okay, I know that this is this that's going on inside of you, so this is how we need to handle it. And then that's how you're able to get relief in like a week or so. So let's say already started removing stuff from your diet. Your next step, get onto the high lysine diet. Once you're good, like, okay, I'm not going crazy for eating dates. I'm not trying to do all of these cleanses and all of these different types of fast. People think, well, I have HSV, I need to boost my immune system. I just need to boost my immune system. But that's not the case. HSV is actually turning your genes off. It's turning off gene expression and it's turning on gene expression. So it's causing your immune system to not act right. So it's not that it needs to be boosted, because when you keep trying to boost it, your immune system is not able to see how many immune cells are out and if it needs to release more or if it needs to stop releasing it. So it gets confused. So by you feeding your immune system, feeding your body more stuff to try to boost your immune system, the immune system starts to turn on you. And it will one is, hey, you should take a look at, come to see me. They don't only have HIV, HSV negative for just HSV. They are taking care of all of the things that they're dealing with in addition to HSV. So it doesn't matter like if you have HSV in addition to other things, you still can reverse it. Now, what makes it harder to reverse in some cases, which I did meet somebody earlier this year, that people who are on herbal regimens and switch from taking herbs directly to detoxing, those people tend to have like those bodily reactions where they'll get spasms, like a full body spasm, like they're vibrating, and that's from all the art. And then they just keep continuing on the detox. So that's pretty much how we handle that. But what I have been recommending people do, which has been turning out better, is for people these nuts. I had somebody named there is somebody that was in my text club, and their name was D's Nuts, but it was spelled in a way, I don't know, it was very clever. But anyways, so we do not want to be eating all of those nuts. What was I gonna say next? I think I sort of forgot. Okay, so I told you guys that you can reverse it. The nuts, okay, how I support them mentally until they get over it, and then they can just go ahead and continue on with the detox. So the biggest hurdle is getting over your mentality. So when you first start detoxing, let me tell you, detoxing feels like something, okay? I deleted it. Detoxing feels like something. It don't just feel like nothing, okay? So you can expect to go through some changes. And a lot of those changes are really psychological. They're psychological because the different like parasites and microorganisms in your body that you don't want in there no more, they don't want to leave, okay? They really don't want to leave. I'll answer your ozone question in just a second. So while you are killing it off, it is crying out for help. It wants you to stop. So for some people, I had someone recently tell me that they felt like they just couldn't swallow the food. It's like they would go to eat the food. They don't think food is nasty, but for some reason, they just felt like it's hard to swallow, and then they have to drink like a ton of water whenever they eat it. And I asked them something about it, and it was like, oh, just talking about it, I'm starting to get that feeling in my throat. So that is psychological. That's not actually like, that's not physical. Y'all tend to go out frequently. It's just tonight you don't really feel like it. So you tell your friend that you want to just chill tonight, just take it easy, and that's all cool and everything. But then as it gets closer, you're like, man, I should just go. I should just go and just have one drink. And then that one drink allows for all the stuff inside of your body to start replicating. They have a good time inside of your body, partying it up. So that is just an example of how the virus can cause you to be in situations that you don't want to be in. What if you go out that night and then you end up roofied, okay? And the virus then led you in a situation to where now you're getting roofied. All right, so I ain't going to go in too much detail with that because we do have people that's currently dealing with issues like that right now. And it's because of the virus. Okay, has anyone tried ozone therapy to reverse it? So when I first started helping people with HSV was back in 2018. I released my first video on HSV. In 2019, I started taking clients. And then I had my first person come back negative for HSV in the summer of 2019. And then during that time, how I created this was I took my HPV protocol that I use. I reversed late stage like HPV that was turning into cancer. I did that in only 6 weeks, and I had been battling it for 5 years, almost 5 years, using this 5-step detox process. Okay, so when I posted it on YouTube, a whole bunch of people with HSV flocked to my channel and was asking me how my protocol would work for them. So they were trying out my protocol and reporting back to me, okay, when I did this happened, da da da. So with those clients that I was taking, we were trying out different things, and some of them had already done ozone therapy, and was telling me that basically, well, let me tell you this. So some of them already did ozone therapy, and then some of them tried ozone therapy at the same time as doing the detox, right? So this is what happened. A lot of people spend tens of thousands of dollars on ozone therapy. Okay, I'm talking about 20, $30,000 on ozone therapy. It's very, very expensive. Now, the ozone practitioners tell them not to watch the numbers or IgG numbers on the test, and that they can get rid of HSV and it still might say positive on your test. So don't even, worry about like the test results. So to me, that was a red flag, and that just made no sense. So if you're thinking about doing ozone therapy, make sure that you do your research and go and speak to the facility, get their information on what has happened with people who's had HSV, how many people were able to clear it, like what's the, I guess, success rate or whatnot. And you want to get more details from them on ozone therapy, but doing it along with this detox, it does not work. Another thing that people were trying to do was oxygen therapy through DMSO. DMSO is 35% hydrogen peroxide, and people usually dilute it down to like 3%. But you can't do it on this detox. And the reason why is because, for one thing, it makes your numbers increase on the IgG, same as ozone therapy made the numbers increase. And then also, my client's hair was turning orange, red, and blonde. Their hair on their body, like the hair on their head, it was in patches and not evenly. It was crazy. And then hair on their body was turning. This was from drinking it. They weren't bathing in it very much because they were doing the baths that was on my detox. So I just, do your research on it. Do your research on it before you go and do it. But with my detox, we don't do it. And then also, this it's this is a simple process, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, so all of the research that I've done on the virus and on the different things that we're doing on the detox, I haven't compiled inside my detox manual what each step does to the virus. And then you can go into the link into my bio and click start here, and I have a free video library where I'm really explaining the effects of the virus, how it's affected by the food, how the virus works, and how different things work on it and what it does inside of your body. So definitely go check out those videos before, like, educate yourself before you make any moves, because we don't want to make any moves out of desperation. We want to be fully educated and make educated decisions. And then we also want to pray on it too. So we want to make prayerful, educated decisions before we move forward with a process. All right, I'm struggling to find distilled water. It is expensive. You may most likely are looking in the wrong places, because distilled water is the cheap water in the store. To be honest, it's the cheap water in the store. So if you go to Walmart, it's going to be the store brand Walmart. If you go to Winn-Dixie, it's the store brand Winn-Dixie, which is like Grocers something. If you go to Publix, it's the Publix water. If you go to, let me think of some more grocery stores. If you go to Kroger's, it's Kroger's water. It'll have the store brand on it, and it's $1. It's $1 for a gallon everywhere. Some places like Publix is a little bit more expensive. Usually, we don't have Publix here where I live. I'm in New Orleans, but I lived in Georgia for just a blink of an eye, and we had Publix there. I think it's just a little bit more expensive, like $1.50. So, and that's for the gallon. Or get the case of water. Cases of water are about $4 right now. Like deals like 3 cases of water for $13, 3 cases for $12 when you go to grocery stores like that. So you got to keep looking to find the right water. Because I have what brand of distilled water are you purchasing? Because I haven't found any expensive ones. Let me know which ones you're getting. Much love from Australia. Hey. What do you think about bait and switching? So I think that bait and switching will definitely grant you your karma. Everything is karma, whether you're doing good and you're getting back good, or whether you're being mischievous and then you're getting back the repercussions of you being mischievous. For example, when she goes to see like a witch doctor and she tries to do a love spell and on this guy that she likes, and she thinks he's the perfect guy, so she does this love spell and they go burying stuff and burning candles and all kind of stuff like that. And then she ends up getting them. It works. It ends up working. But then he ends up turning out to be a psychopath, and her life is in danger now. And she can't get rid of him for nothing in the world. So bait and switch. That's just an example, like an analogy for what I think about bait and switch. You do not want to, you know, start talking to somebody, get somebody. And I think that if this is what you're talking about as far as a relationship, like not disclosing to them, going along with the friendship or whatever, and then telling them about HSV later on, and after you feel like they've already fallen for you. If you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that, as long as you don't sleep with them first and then tell them that you have HSV, because that right there could be fighting words for some people. So make sure that you disclose to them first, and then, give them the chance to decide whether or not they want to move forward. And if that person rejects you, then that's your protection from them. Because if they'll reject you for that, they'll reject you for other reasons. And those reasons may or may not be, big or small. So just think of it as protection. Thank you for explaining everything. I really appreciate it. The ozone doctor I found is really good, and straight shooter is just so darn expensive. Yeah. Yeah, and then, report back. Let me know how your ozone is working for you, because if you're a success story, I would love to hear a success story about any process. All right, thank you so much for sending my package so fast. It should be here today or tomorrow. Aw, you're welcome. I worked really hard on getting your package out to you quick, too. You don't need almost a gallon a day, though. Yeah, so if it's a gallon a day, so a gallon of water a day is just $1. So $1 a day is not expensive. So think of it this way. If you don't drink water, anything else that you would drink costs way more than that water that costs $1. So, case, yeah, right. That's the case. All right. So I want to do a detox again. I'm just tired of losing all my muscle mass. God bless you for healing people. Okay, so first thing first, when it comes down to you doing a detox, you need to definitely research what is on that detox, like the foods that's on the detox. You want to research like any herbs that's on that detox. You want to really look at those things. So for example, I have a video that I just made. I'm not sure if it's on my website yet, but I was going over foods that I found on herpes detox protocols that actually makes herpes virus replicate. And I went through, I can't remember how many foods it was. If it was like 25 foods. I think it might have been like 25 foods. I can't remember the exact number. Maybe it wasn't 25 foods. I don't know, but it was definitely a bunch of foods that I found on different detox protocols that specifically for herpes that causes the herpes virus to replicate. So go and check that out so that you can see about some of those things that you were doing and why it may not have worked. And then as far as losing muscle mass, it sounds like maybe you were on like all fruit or possibly all raw vegetables, and in that case you would lose a lot of muscle mass because there's no protein in that diet. There's just no protein. Whereas on this detox, people don't usually lose muscle mass. The only time that people lose muscle mass is if they are starving themselves and they're not eating properly, or even if they're like, I'm not hungry, but they're only eating once or twice a day. These foods we're eating are very high protein, and that's the reason why you don't lose a lot of muscle mass on this detox. You'll lose visceral fat. The visceral fat, that's the intra-abdominal fat, you'll lose that. But you won't lose a lot of muscle. Okay? And you should not lose a lot of weight. Like, judging by how you look on your thumbnail right there, you shouldn't lose very much weight. Now, if someone's overweight, they do tend to lose a lot of weight. All right, C-Town is just the amount I'm trying to drink. Been really dehydrated. Okay, so you have to drink more water. You got to drink more water. Even if you got to go get a gallon a day and you put it inside one of those gallon size jugs that have all of those beautiful saying water magic. That's what I call it, but they have some scientific names for it too. All right, guys, let's see. Is it okay to leave some slash intro call? That's where you can book a free phone with me, and I'll guide you in the right direction to go ahead and get started. You want to definitely start by going to the link in my bio, and in my link tree, click the very first link at the top that says start here and watch that class. Attend that class because it sets the stage for what you would be doing inside of the detox, and it will teach you so much stuff that will blow your mind about your diagnosis and some things that you may have experienced that you didn't really know what it was or what it meant. So go to that class. First as your precursor, and then go ahead and book this free call with me so that we can talk about your different options for completing the detox. Okay. And then I also like to do like a little analysis to make sure that the detox is right for you. See, okay, what is your health history? Like, what is it that you're dealing with exactly? And then I'll tell you, okay, this is good for you to do right now, or you should actually eat like this for the next 30 days and then try after that. So, yeah. All right, guys. So I got 4 minutes. I'm about to head out. We have a detox class slash Q&A session that's about to start. The link is inside of my free community, tarasdetox.mn.co, or you can also find that link inside of my Instagram bio when you go to my link tree. If you're here on YouTube, you can just click the link in the description, and that should bring you to it. So I'm gonna see you guys in a minute. Bye, y'all.